That's okay. Hey, all right. Hey, everyone. Sorry we're a little bit late today. If anyone's out there, my name is Randy Surles. I'm a ghostwriter, developmental editor, book coach, and a former Green Beret and Ranger. And we just set this YouTube live up to answer questions and kind of address mostly the military writers out there, but anyone else who's interested. And I got my buddy here, Dan. Go ahead and introduce yourself, buddy.
Hey, Randy, thanks for having me again. Good to be here as always. So Dan Pace, retired Green Beret like Randy, also author. So been going on the kind of transition from military to guy with job to full-time author, and we're about halfway through that. And wanted to get on here and share some best and worst practices as I've lived and experienced them for all you authors looking to get started.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. That's great. No, I think I hope this is helpful to people. I know they're getting it on social media. I don't know if they're seeing it on YouTube, but it's actually nice to talk out loud about a lot of this stuff because I think about it a lot because I'm exposed to it all the time with my clients and everything. The last time we left off, I talked to you a little bit about making your audiobook, and I think that's really cool. My experience is I had one of my clients who was like adamant. It's like, I want you to read my book. I want you to do my audiobook. And I was like, oh, I don't know about that, Tom. I don't know if I'm the right guy. And I definitely don't have the right place because it's very echoey in here. And he's like, no, we can do it. We'll figure it out. And so I actually paid a guy in Britain who does this for a living. I paid him like $200 or something for his time. And he was like walking me through all the steps and he was giving me some tips and stuff. And then I was just like, how do I make this Spanish house with, that's echoey as hell and marble floors and everything else? And I was like, there's no way. And in the States, especially if you're in a pretty decent sized city, you could probably find a studio and hire them when they're not using it for some random amount of money because, they're not using it. So why not charge $100 an hour, $50 an hour for their studio? But that's not here where I live in Spain. That's not possible. So, but I'm really interested to hear your experience.
Oh, yeah. So I didn't pay a British guy to teach me how to do it. I went on YouTube and learned. And what I found is a lot of what you're experiencing, except I actually have a sound booth. So my office has a soundproof booth that has great acoustics. It is still really hard to get your recording into, I think it's called ACX, where it'll pass the ACX check. But bottom line, it has to pass Amazon's quality check, right? And so it has to have, man, you're going to get into sound nerd terms here. It has to have this certain level of background noise, like a very minimal amount. It has to have a range, my tech terms are bad here, of like the highest and lowest has to be pretty narrow. So even if you talk loud, it has to kind of dampen and then step up your quiet stuff. And it has to have the right number of breaks, and it has to have the right, there's one more filter that always, there's like lip smacks, that kind of stuff. Like it has to have none of that. So no like extra sounds on the edge. And the process of one recording, so one, set the conditions to record. Okay, carefully set the microphone up. It took me 2 days of fiddling to get a recording that would be acceptable, which is, okay, I set the knobs on these because there's like a gain knob and some other knobs. I don't know what that shit does, but you're stumbling through to figure it out. You get all that set up. You finally record a clip. Then once you record it, you have to edit it because it doesn't come out anywhere near the quality that Amazon needs to publish. And so like more YouTube videos, there's a program called Audacity.
I use that for my podcast.
So it's free. It's a good program. There's a little bit of a learning curve on it though. And so you have to figure out, one, how to work Audacity, how to get it set up so it'll capture your stuff right. Then you have to work through like your, your TTPs of doing takes, right? So I'm like, I read through for a while. I screwed something up. Okay. Stop the recording, start the next track, start it 5 seconds back, keep talking. Okay. Figure out now I have to clip these, mix master them. I'm like the damn dude in the 80s with the little slidey things. Like that's me trying to fiddle fuck with this thing. And
DJ Dan Pace.
We finally got there. I think I am proficient enough to make an audiobook, but even then the recording is quite painstaking. So it takes me a solid, let's say, hour per chapter to just read through it, get all the takes straight, record it, then mix master it to get all the volume numbers right. And I'm 2/3 of the way through my first book, and I just need dedicated hours when I can sit in here and read and do it all and edit. And it's hard to find that time. So it's a bit of a chore. I think that it's a solid thing to do. I think audiobooks sell well. I think there's a reason that they're kind of expensive. I could see why they're kind of expensive because they're a pain in the ass to make. But I encourage people obviously to do it. It's just know that it's not going to be as easy as like, well, I'll just sit here and read my book and I'm done reading my book and I'm done. Like, oh no, you're going to read that book many, many times before you get that thing just the way it needs to be to actually publish. And I still haven't published it. So there might be some more hurdles I don't even know about, but that's all I've got to this point.
So when you say you have a sound studio in your office, is that like your external office that you're in right now, or do you in your office in your house you actually have one?
No. So I rent an office. So I still have a day job. So I rent a desk so that I don't work from my house. I got 5 kids, 4 of them still at home. So my ability to do work at home is basically zero. So I rent space down the street and I go down here and work. And we're under the flight path on the airport. And so like F-22s take off. And so they built these little sound booths so that when you're doing a VTC or a meeting, you can actually hear the other person. And they just have the spillover benefit of also being really good for recording books and podcasts.
That's good. That's awesome. So,
It's not bad.
Okay, that's the difficulty in doing it. And I'm sure there's a lot of nuances that are even on top of that about, you kind of breeze by the summary of like, got to edit, cut it. I learned when I first started doing my podcast, I watched some videos. I actually took a course, and they suggested Audacity, so I brought Audacity. And yeah, there's a little learning curve there. If you've never done anything like that before, you're just like, okay, Google, how do you do this? And watch a couple hours of videos, and then you can do most of what you want to do after that. But and so my next question is, I heard a lot of rumors. I don't know if they're rumors, but I heard a lot of gossip in the channels that I run around in that, putting it on Audible is not necessarily the best way to make money because they really skimp you. They take like 60% or more, and you have to offer it a good deal or something like that. Have you done your research on that yet?
So yes, my research doesn't disagree with what you're saying. So one, you will have to split royalties or come up with some kind of deal with the guy who records your stuff, right? So right off the top, unless you're doing all of it yourself, you're kind of a split owner, right? So, okay, so if you want to go find a guy to record your audiobook, then in theory, he has some rights to the audiobook or you have to pay him to do it. And so that's step one. Do you do it all yourself or do you kind of sub out pieces? Then once it's on Audible, to me, it looks comparable, and I haven't done it yet. So this is just a guy who's researched it. It looks comparable to Amazon, right? They take a pretty hefty cut, but you get really great market access. So it's right there on your page. People can see, here's my book. Okay, look, there's the Audible book right there available. Also with audiobooks, you have to worry about things like, how's the person actually going to listen to it, right? So I could list it independently on my website, but are they going to download I guess whatever audio file, like an MP3? Can I record it as an MP3 and then sell it and just release it as an MP3? Is that manageable? Like usually Audible has, some kind of features to it. Like I listen to audiobooks when I'm commuting and you can like play through it pretty easily. The chapters are broken down nice and neat. It kind of looks clean and it's in a format that people expect. They can delete it off their phone and add it real easy. So I'm not going to say there's not a better way to distribute, but I will say that for this guy who's just like doing it the first time, Audible looks pretty appealing. Like, yeah, they take a bunch of my money, but they also make it accessible to the people who are like, look, I just want to download your book on Audible. And then when I'm done with it, I want to delete it so it doesn't clog up my phone with like, it only has like 2 free gigabytes of space left with all my pictures on it. I can't afford to have more than one audiobook on there. So just give me a way to get it on there real easy and then delete it. Audible does all that. And they have any way to kind of collect. So there may be a better way, but I am going to list on Audible. That is definitely my initial play, and then from there we'll Audible if we want to go a different direction. So we'll see. I don't know.
So my research is, we've talked about BookFunnel for digital book, getting your digital book out on your webpage or something like that. They also, from what I understand, and you can be my guinea pig, they also do audiobooks distribution. So I think they have their own app. Maybe, and you download it, you can listen off their app instead of your Audible app, for instance, or something like that.
So you're right. I forgot about that completely because I have a BookFunnel subscription. That's how I do my digital distributions. Although, to be candid, I'm not sure if I'm going to continue it. And here's why. And I don't know Audible book might change my math on this. So far, if I do a direct sale off my website, the person can access it as a PDF and download it, or an EPUB, and they just get downloaded. So my Wix or Shopify will just send them a digital file and they can download it right there. BookFunnel, if you take one extra step, will send them a downloadable link that they can put onto their own reader. The trouble is that the connectivity between the platform and BookFunnel, and this might, right now I'm on Wix and I'm moving to Shopify because I just hired a new guy and he's going to do my marketing. He's like, you got to do Shopify. It's just better. It's possible that Shopify BookFunnel integration is better. Wix BookFunnel integration is reliant enough on third party. Like I use Zapier, which is like a little code thing that takes this action and turns it into this action. I do that. And the problem is it's fragile and they want money like everybody else. So it's like, well, okay, that's another subscription I got to have to make this thing talk to this thing. And right now I'm not thrilled with how that's working out. And so I don't know if I'm going to continue using BookFunnel, but we'll see.
So have you tried, instead of making it like using Shopify from your website, like I want to buy a digital book from you on your website, click Shopify, pay, send it to BookFunnel, and then they can download it. I believe that BookFunnel has its own Shopify type thing where you can buy it straight from BookFunnel. Because I as an editor, people send me their books to edit at first draft. Well, I will turn it into an ebook and put it on BookFunnel because BookFunnel allows you to make a landing page for all your products. And so I make a landing page that only I know, and I click on it and it says, hey, you want to read this on your book? Yeah. So download the PDF or the ebook onto your computer, and then hit this and go to your Amazon website, and then hit this and you'll upload it into your Kindle automatically. It's like a 3-step process, but it's pretty simple. And then that's how I read it. And I take notes while I'm reading it. So I think you should be able to have like a button on your webpage where you're like, buy my digital book, click, goes to your landing page on BookFunnel, and you like download here. And I think that's a process, but I could be wrong.
No, it is. It's just the automation to make it clean so that when they pay, they automatically get that link from BookFunnel sent to them. Takes an extra step.
You should just be able to pay on BookFunnel. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, you're saying link them to BookFunnel instead of my site?
Yeah.
So I can try that.
Your BookVault, you'll have 3 links. You'll have a digital book, a audiobook, and a physical book. And your physical book will throw them to BookVault to send it, so they send you the physical book and do all that stuff. But your digital and your audiobook will go to a BookFunnel landing page where you just click on whichever you want and you pay right there.
So there's 2 questions I have that I got to research on this, and maybe that works perfect. But one of the things I love about having all the sales on the site is, and this sounds nerdy, but just for tax reasons, I get a single invoice. Wix, in this case, generates all of my sales information for the year. It shits it over to me. That's how many sales I have. I can take the BookVault costs and like, okay, that's how many costs were. I can bill those as a business expense. My concern is if I start sending it to another entity to bill and then pay me royalties, I'm going to end up with like another income stream that I have to like document and tax. And maybe this is easier than it seems like it would be, but I'm trying to find a nice, clean way to do it. And I'm hoping that Shopify will just have better integration with BookFunnel inherently. Like the BookVault Wix integration is seamless. Don't have to do any extra work. The customer can click on my page, buy, pay right there with their card. They automatically get the book sent to them. They never have to really see BookVault. Now, BookFunnel is weirder. And so I'm trying to figure out if I can make it that clean. And it might just be ignorance on my part. So I want to figure that out because I would love it.
Shopify is so big. I bet BookFunnel and Shopify is pretty seamless. I can't imagine this stuff.
So the guy I brought on to do my cover artist just left his day job, and he is now freelance digital media guy. He used to do the Magnolia Network's digital work. Like he did all of it for them when they were getting started. So he knows a lot about it. He's like, I'd love to do your marketing stuff for you. I'm like, please, hey, help me because I don't know how to do this site. So if you help me, it would be awesome. So that's one of his recommendations. He's like, I want to move your whole site to Shopify. He's like, the app integration for marketing and distribution purposes is just infinitely better than Wix. I don't know if that's true, but I'm going to take his word for it because he knows a hell of a lot more about this than me. And so we're going to make that switch. And then I guess I'll keep telling you. I'll keep telling you how it works.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. I got there's a web page. There's a page on BookFunnel that says sell on Shopify and we'll deliver. And
Perfect.
how do you set up Shopify specifically for Shopify? Shopify is the biggest thing out there for this kind of thing. So
It
of course,
is.
they probably seamlessly worked everything out.
I'm sure they do. They were the reason I originally went with Wix is my son is about to graduate with his degree in computer science, and so he's like, I'm familiar with Wix. I can build your site in Wix. I'm like, easy. I like it. Let's go with that. And it is good for website. I have no real complaints about Wix, but if the commerce integration site's better on Shopify, hey man, I'll make the swap. I think it's only an extra like $10 a month.
You can integrate Shopify with Wix, or you have to make a WordPress site now?
I don't know. Shopify, I think, has its own integrated website. Like you can build your own website on Shopify. That is what he is saying. But he is also saying he's going to take care of it for me. So I'm going to be blissfully ignorant about how that works, Randy. I'm like, hey man, if you're taking care of it, that's the best answer ever.
That's cool.
It could be. We'll see. But I like BookFunnel in general. BookFunnel is great. Just gotta get the integration better.
So what else is he going to do marketing wise?
So here's like the overall of what I run. I run a meta campaign, I run a BookBub campaign, and I run an Amazon product campaign for each book. So my spending and my ability to maximize like ROI on those is pretty sloppy. Like, to be honest, I don't have a ton of time for it, and I'm pretty ignorant on it. So when I go in there, I'm always swinging like, let's try this. But I don't really know how to see what my results are, like at the technical level. Like, okay, who's buying this? Who's not buying this? Why are they not buying this? I don't know how to read that data. So if we were shooting and I read a target, I'd be like, okay, you are pulling the trigger. You're jerking the trigger. You're checking your target. You're looking over the sites. I could tell because you're shooting high right or low and left. I mean, you know the deal. You know all this stuff. This data, I can't look at it and see anything. I've tried to research it. I'm going through it. I just don't know enough about like, okay, I'm getting a lot of impressions. I'm not getting a lot of conversions, and the conversions I'm getting aren't necessarily turning into purchases. How can I tell why? And he's like, 1 second in, I've known him for a while, so I trust him, which is always helpful. He's like, one, your website kind of sucks. It looks clunky and old. I don't think people are buying anything on it. So let's change that because I think people are bouncing off of it. So we're going to change your site. I'm going to redesign it to be cleaner. Then we're going to look at why you're getting impressions. Those impressions are great. You're getting a lot of conversions, but you're not getting any sales. I think I know why. Let's go ahead and try that. And by the way, I'm going to use Zlee. I think he said to maximize your Amazon click campaign by product. He's like, we'll look at this and I'll bring in a tool to just help you know how to tweak your spending. And I'm like, you had me at hello. Please help me generate. He's like, I think we can get your ROI. Like, to be honest, my advertising spending is basically right now below 1. So I spend more money advertising than I collect in sales. Not catastrophically so. And it's good for getting the book out there in a wider distro, but I'm losing money by advertising. He's like, I can get that up to a positive flow in the next few months, I think, without too much trouble. I'm like, that would be amazing. So that's kind of where we sit. And so we'll see how it works. We're going to try it for 90 days, and then we'll see if we can make this thing go.
I think somewhere in the next month, you should probably connect me with this guy because I probably have a lot of clients for him. I mean, every client that I work with, right, wants to sell their book, and they have no idea how to do it. And some of them have somewhat of a following. Some of them are trying to start a following. But, if you haven't started a social media following, you're not going to sell books in the next 2 years with whatever you're going to start right now. Because those people already know you. The people that are going to join your social media already know you, and they already know you got a book out. So that's not going to change anything. But understanding how to use BookBub, understanding how to use Meta and the Amazon ads and all that, and this guy can figure it all out and give you a good kind of rate of return on your investment. Even as long as it's positive and not negative. And if it's positive and not negative and pays its bill, at least you tried, right? And you broke even. As opposed to, when you're starting, you're like, throw some here, throw some there. Nope, that didn't work. Throw some more over here. And it's just, you said, you kind of got to, A, you need to know what you're doing. And B, you need to have time to figure out if it's working and how to tweak it. And that's why if you're a full-time author, which you're not, because you have another job, when you're a full-time author, or I've also seen some like husband-wife teams where one of them's going to do all the admin stuff, the other's the creative energy. And so they dedicate, that's what they do. One of them's like burning out books every 3 to 6 months. And the other one's like, okay, we got to market the last book. We got to market the first book. We got to figure out what's working, what's not working. And that's a full-time job for the most part. And that's, yeah, I can understand that. And that's a really good point.
It's frustrating to be taking actions and to not know why you're getting the results, right? It's almost like being a little kid again, where you're like, I turn on the light comes on. I turn on the switch, but the light doesn't come on. I'm like, what? Why didn't the light come on? Like, that's how I feel with marketing material, is you're just doing things and not understanding the cause and effect at all. And his knowledge and experience are great at being like, this is why you're not getting that effect. Try this instead, do this instead. You're going to see positive. And also, just frankly, the quality of product he makes for like an on-screen advertising and podcast is just better. Like, I just emailed you one. I don't know if it's even possible to bring it up and show you, but he basically is like, look, the quality of thing you're bringing up to kind of show your book looks kind of amateurish, probably because you're making it yourself. Like, this is what's going to really take you, to the next level, and like have people say, okay, this looks a lot more credible. And I, like I said, I just sent you one. I was looking at it earlier. It just looks way better than the things I make. So it's good on him for being like a digital marketing expert.
Oh yeah. I'm looking at it right now. It looks nice.
It's simple. It takes him seconds to build that stuff. It just looks a lot better than when I build a thing, and as it should, right? Again, he just knows what he's doing. And so as I go on podcasts, I'm going to just start destroying these. He's like, I'm going to make you one with your every podcast. He's like, most of the hosts will know how to list this thing and just have a simple link to it, to your site. He's just have them post that, because people's engagement with that, instead of you just saying, oh, here's my site and here's my book, is way higher. Give them something they can click on, and it just works better than them trying to retain the thing you said or write it down or go type it into the browser.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I made my website to be when I first started, and I didn't get a lot of engagement. And about 2 years in, when I was making some money, I was like, okay, well, maybe I need to hire someone to kind of revamp it. So he revamped a little bit of it and kind of helped me with some things I wasn't sure of. And he still left it it's tweaked. It's not, I'd say we could probably make it better, but right now I got enough engagement that I can't even keep up with all the people. So, and when I have a problem with like, I don't have enough work, then maybe it's time to an upgrade. But right now I think I got enough work. It's not a problem right now.
It's working fine, right?
Yeah. Well, it's different. So my click to buy ratio for my services is a little different than yours, right? You're making $2 a book. I'm making, 4 figures of service. So if I get two buys in the month, then I'm good. I'm good for that month. So
that makes perfect sense. Different model, right? Totally different model.
Yeah, and if I get 50 people to visit and 2 people buy, that's horrible for books, but it's pretty good for my services.
No, it makes perfect sense. And that's all part of the game that I don't get. Like, how many is good? Like, how many impressions is good? How many clicks is good? How do you get the service? I mean, because you're in kind of a battle with the people who are selling the advertising, right? So Meta gets your money when somebody clicks on the ad. So what they care about is people clicking. I get money when they convert and buy a book. Does Meta necessarily care as long as they click? I mean, I don't know, right? I mean, I don't really know. Maybe.
I mean, they got to care because they want you to continue, right? So they want you to be as successful as they are, because if you're successful, you're going to keep investing in them. So they have a vested interest in you being successful. There's also probably something to be said by, hey, if we get 1 billion people to try us every month and they all fail, and we get another 1 billion, next month that they're going to try, and they all fail, we don't really care because we're making $1 billion a month. But on the other hand, if you are, if you're laying out $500 and you're making $2,000 off that 500, and then you're going to do it every month, and then when you got a new book, maybe you'll do twice that much or something like that. So they have I believe they have it's all about money, right? If they weren't making anything, they could care less. But since the more you use them, the more they make, they're probably interested. They probably have made good videos and stuff for how to use it and how to think about it and stuff, because it's worth their time to do that. They want you to continue to work with them.
No, and you're right. They have great product support to a degree, but again, it's almost like learning another language. And so when you're clicking it in and you're really starting to get into the tech details of this is a campaign, this is what's the next echelon down, and then you have like an ad set, and then you have ads, and there's this tiered, okay, well, you edit this at this level and this at this level. And so it's not like they don't kind of tell you how to set that up, but again, it's pretty arcane, man. And I really feel like I'm like the 6-year-old alchemist in there. I'm like, all right, let's take some bleach, let's take some mom's makeup, we're gonna get, hey, here we go, we got a thing. Oh, it didn't work, it's gross. And so even with their help, it's still just complicated. And so, bad on me. If I had more time, I could probably, I think, master it. But there's also kind of an art to it. And some people got it and it comes natural. And I don't believe that I'm one of them. But maybe I'm wrong.
I guess so have you ever heard of Author Nation?
Mm-mm.
So I think I may have told you about what they used to be called. They used to be called 20 Books to 50K.
Yes, you did tell me about them.
20 Books to 50K. It's still a Facebook group. It's got however many, 50,000 followers or whatever. It used to be I think it still is, a very giving Facebook group. Like, you weren't allowed to advertise services. You weren't allowed to advertise products. You could say, I know this guy, and here's how you can contact him, but you can't market their stuff, or they'll kick you off the site. In general, it was a very giving community of self-published authors who were just trying to help each other. And they would say, people would put their covers up there and say, what do you think? And they're like, whoa, the colors kind of clash. I wouldn't be able to read the title, the author's name, because it's so small and the font's weird, or something like that. So very giving. And then when TikTok started becoming a hit 4 or 5 years ago, Book Talk, the people were going, hey, what about this? And they're like, oh yeah, I'm doing it with this, and this is becoming successful. And they were sharing all the tips and stuff. And so it was really great. People would, you could put whatever question you wanted about self-publishing, and you get like 20 or 30 responses really fast. And then they started having these conventions in Vegas, which obviously started making money for the guy who owned the Facebook group, because
Sure.
he'd have all these sponsors and whatnot. And so it's this week-long thing in Vegas. And then he sold it 2 years ago, I think, to something called Author Nation. So now they have the Author Nation thing in Vegas every November, I believe it is. So I'm only say it so if you're interested, or anyone who's listening is interested, Author Nation, and it's the biggest author, software and marketing, and Amazon ads is there, and Meta ads is there, and BookFunnel's there, and BookVault. That's where I found out about BookVault. BookVault's there because they still are based in the UK, and they expanded to the US only a couple of years ago. And they have some spinoffs of that Author Nation. Well, the 50 Books to 50K had spinoffs in Amsterdam and Madrid and the UK. And then when Author Nation bought them, they didn't buy the other spinoffs. So the spinoffs changed into something else. And so I have one in Spain here that's called the publishing. It's called, oh man, it's such a weird name. It's called GPS, Global Publishing Summit. And so they have that year, and I already signed up. It's in April, and we're in Sevilla. And it's only a 2-day event, but they have people from all over Europe that come to it. And that's BookVault. That's actually where I saw BookVault, because I never made it to Vegas, but I went to the first Sevilla one 2 years ago, and BookVault was there. And so I was like, oh, what do you guys do? And I was like, oh yeah, we do this and this and this. We're out of UK, we're expanding in the US. And that's when I heard about them. So they always have some good sponsors down there.
I'm super happy with BookVault. You were the one that introduced me to them, and it is definitely a question about how you do that when you start self-publishing. And there's, again, a couple other options, but thus far I have zero complaints. They do a good job. I even got my little custom, they call them bespoke books, right? And I kind of hate that word, but it doesn't matter. But you get your little custom tailored with your ribbon and all your stuff on it. And I got that edition done on the latest kids book, and it just looks great. They do a good job. Their quality's solid, and the business model is pretty clean. I've heard people have complaints sometimes, but personally, I never had anything but but good experience. A little slow shipping time would be my only complaint because they use media mail, but I mean, it keeps the cost down. So if you want to compete with Amazon for getting books to people, you got to make sure and keep that shipping cost down. That's a huge turnoff.
Is your kids' book, is it in color?
It is not. So I actually did it all pen and ink. So it's all just a fountain pen. And so the cover's color, but all the interior isn't. And I just like it that way for aesthetic purposes.
Okay. Huh. Cool. Yeah, I've been meaning to get to that Vegas Author Nation thing, but I think I would have liked it better when it was 20 books at 50K. It seems like it's a little big now. It's a big circus now.
I mean, I've never been, and I like conventions, so I'm not going to crap on it. It does, when you hear about it being sold, you think, well, if somebody bought it, it means it probably makes a lot of money, which means it's going to be very monetized. And that doesn't mean it's bad, but it does make me like, okay, I don't really want to go to a big monetized. I mean, I've gone to SHOT Show before, which is like the gun equivalent in Vegas. I know what that feels like. Like if the book thing feels anything like SHOT Show, I'm like, I don't know if it's quite what I'm looking for.
No, I'm pretty sure it's going to have like a big auditorium with all these people who have tables who want to sell you the newest whatever, and then they're going to have 5 or 6 rooms. You can't go see everything because they're going to have simultaneous, lectures on things you want to watch. And you're going to have to pick and choose. The one in Sevilla has 3 rooms. One in Spanish where they repeat some of the things in Spanish, and then the other 2 are in English. So you got to pick and choose which one you want to be in. But
makes sense.
Yeah, and there's only like 6 or 7 lectures a day, but it's a lot more personal. I mean, there's literally only like 50, 80 people in the that are watching it, and everyone's split between the 2 rooms. There's 80 people, and then occasionally they have some really good European, like American authors that are in Europe or UK or something that come and talk that are pretty interesting. Just that they talk about their journey from like, I started doing this kind of like Jack Reacher guy, I was to be a lawyer and then I quit and I wrote my first book and then I only made $5 and then I did this and this, and now this is what I'm making now and stuff like that. So there's like the hopeful stories. Of course, they don't bring the stories where everyone failed because there's probably a lot of them. Probably the street and meet those guys.
They don't go to the conference. Like I stopped and went back into a day job after 3 years because there's no way I was working for me. Like it's not an uplifting story at the author conference, right?
Almost. Yeah. I gave up everything to do my writing and
it didn't work out. I took the Edgar Allan Poe. I died in a ditch. Oh man.
$50 to come tell you my story. Well, I did. Who did I talk to? Oh no, I was listening to a podcast. This guy's last name is, I think it's JD Barker, maybe, but he has a great story where he started out doing what I was doing, and then he called himself a book doctor. So people would come up and like, hey, what's wrong with my book? And he'd tell them and like that. And sometimes he'd actually write it for them if they wanted to. And then James Patterson heard about him and like read some stuff he did and called him up. It's like, hey, I want you to, maybe we could collaborate. And he's like, I hear you're a big outliner. He's like, yeah. And he's like,
he told me this one. They tried it each way, right? Yeah. We talked to last week.
I tell you on the show, I can't remember if I told you on the show or not. But yeah, it was a really good story. It was a rag to riches story where he's like, I didn't sell crap until I came up with a good marketing scheme. So
I feel like there's the way, right? Like it's like everything else. You just have to get discovered, or you got to kind of crack the nut on how it all works, and it'll happen or it won't. The nice thing about our position is this could be a hobby, right? It doesn't have to be like, I'm not starving. You're not starving. We didn't write or edit anything.
France, I can't. I'm gambling on this. Writing.
Well, man, I'm about out of time. I'm about to have to go home and get into the whole kid track meet game.
Sorry, I came out on late. Well, yeah, Tuesdays works better for me anyway, so I think we'll just keep it on Tuesday. And happy President's Day yesterday, I guess.
Yeah, it's 3-day weekend. Can't complain.
It was my birthday Friday.
That's awesome. Valentine's Eve. It's the birthday of romance.
58.
Holy hell. Yeah, man. I feel old, but I ain't that old yet.
I mean, sorry I was late, and I'll see you next week. And I appreciate
Oh, you
being
good,
here.
Randy. No issue at all, man. We'll talk again next week. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, man. Got to think of